Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. This is LG Runs Wild, episode 6. We got our hosts back. It's the Young Buck, with always Slow Gazelle.
How's it going, fellas?
I heard you're slowly, changing your name from Slow to Fast Gazelle. Need a
No,
little bit
that's
more
a myth.
information on this.
It's just because I'm good at keyboard and mouse things. That's the only reason why that's a myth.
So
It's I'm not very fast.
that's the only thing you're fast at?
Yeah,
Okay.
trust me. When I'm with the wife, everything's slow.
And last but not least, we have Tiny Vischacha.
What's up, guys?
How you doing, Vatty?
Watching Stranger Things.
Oh, there you go. Bang! Is that the new season?
No,
He
stop.
hasn't got
No
into it
spoilers.
yet, the poor
Okay,
guy.
I
have
haven't.
started.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I haven't watched the new season yet. I'm like trying to let my wife get caught up. I want to really like.
Mm.
It's been so hard because that show I think is actually really fucking good.
It is
So
really good. I
it is.
stopped watching it in season 2, so I really got to go back and rewatch everything. But I've only heard good things. Only good things.
Dude, it gets better and better. It's one of those shows, you know.
Yeah. I have so many shows that I'm like on a list of, and it's just like and then I go into Netflix and I click and it's like, oh man, look at that.
Yo,
This looks sick. And then I add it to my
speaking.
list, and it's like I'll never get to what I wanted to watch like next 4 times ago.
So speaking of fucking adding shows, not to like prolong the show here though, guys. Sorry, but speaking of prolonging or adding shows, fuck, dude, there's Netflix recently released this thing. It's about fucking bad sports things,
Okay.
and there's like they have the Juventus scandal on there, the fucking
Oh,
Arizona State thing from back in the early '90s. Like the you guys remember the shaving points thing? How old are you guys?
I'm still a young buck.
Okay, so there's like it's got that shit. It's got the race car driver back when they used to do endurance races.
Oh
Like that
God.
guy that financed his race team by importing a bunch of fucking pot from Colombia and shit. It's like scandals in sports. It's a great fucking like it's only 6 episodes, but it is fucking awesome. You
Okay,
should
on
watch
that
it.
note, there's a 30 for 30 on the Islanders owner.
Oh yes!
Yes,
Yes.
that's
Yes!
what that reminded me of.
Yeah,
Fucking
it's like
crazy.
that. It's that kind of shit, Batty. It's that
Okay,
kind of shit,
that's
dude. It's
I gotta go watch that.
crazy. Yeah, it's
I'll
good.
definitely have to check it out. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So halfway point through the season, um, Vatty's up to like 32 trades.
I think it's more.
Last I checked, yeah, I think you were at 32. You were at 23 at the end of last week, and I think you've made, 9 so far, if not more.
Oh.
But
Uh,
you're leading the charge there, bud. I don't remember what the record is, but I know you're going for
Wait,
it.
is Vadi playing forward? Like, what the fuck is going on? What do you mean 32 points? Team points or Vadi
No,
points?
no.
trades.
Oh, trades! I thought you said points for a second. I was like, how the fuck does Vadi have that many points? What the fuck happened in a week?
There's no way that
CHL has gone downhill.
It's like, what the fuck?
Gazelle. It's time to come back to right wing.
Yeah.
That's what.
No shit. I was like, if Vadi's scoring that many points, fuck, dude. I'm going to play forward in the sea. Anybody can do it.
Yeah, it's
Fuck
Just
you.
kidding, Vadi. I love you. Okay, yeah, trades. You're up to 32 then. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
head-to-head battle with Spokane, man.
No.
Are you going to
It's not
beat,
even a battle.
Are you going to beat Danke in more trades this season?
I don't know.
Do you
Uh,
do you want to
I will
beat
beat him
Danke?
in trades. I will beat him in trades and make playoffs.
And make playoffs. Oh, you heard it here first? Is that a promise?
It's a
That's a
guarantee.
promise.
It's a guarantee.
Oh, it's a guarantee. You know what? Batty, like you guys all know who Sharky is, yeah?
Oh God.
Oh God.
Don't.
Yeah,
I
Sharky
don't-
made the most trades in the NHL, but he missed the playoffs.
See.
Batty is saying
Oh.
he's going to make the most trades and make the playoffs.
See,
Hold, please.
this is the difference, though. Looking at like the WHL, this
Okay.
is where Danke has the advantage. He's in a conference with 10 teams, and 8 teams make playoffs. Vatty's in a conference with 12 teams, and he's on the outside looking in right now. as where he's pretty much at the
But
same point as Spokane, but Spokane's in the playoffs.
Vatty's teams, like from my experience since I've been in LG, slow starters, late bloomers. You guys always pick it up towards like at the most important time. That's when your teams start playing the best hockey. So
That's not wrong.
I mean, you
Fun
make the playoffs in the
tidbit.
end.
Fun tidbit. I did make the playoffs in the end with a goalie owner.
Lazy
Lazy.
kids in Georgia.
wow. That's actually a very good feat because I mean I know I'm a goalie and but I'm a firm believer if a goalie's a free contract and anything other than the CHL, it's an automatic handicap to a team.
Well,
So
you
that's
don't even.
very
If you know
impressive.
who Lazy is,
I
he's
know
a
who he is.
backup goalie at best.
At the CHL level.
Okay. Fun
He was
fact of
my
the day.
yeah.
I drafted Murder Boy, who was and now is
Schlarky.
Schlarky.
Yeah. I was going to say, I know all about Murder Boy. Murder Boy 100. But,
Yeah.
the only reason why Vadi made playoffs in the end is because he played first-line defense and his defensive partner, Nuge. He played
Oh,
with
hell
Nuge.
yeah.
He got
Hey, nothing like getting hard carried, bud.
like,
Fuck yeah.
when you get carried by Nuge and you have Lazy in net, man.
Hold on. I shut down Jake Claus. Like, are you promoting this in the NHL stream?
It's
On the
all
NHL
over.
show, boys?
It's all over the site.
Oh,
Site-wide.
God. Jake Claus, come at me. I shut you down once.
Oh man, that's something. But yeah, so we're going into week 4. We just finished week 4, going into week 5. I know Gazelle, you're better than us with your 2 wins in the AHL, Mister. Going into week 6. Hey, Sham, I know you're watching. Sham,
Best 2-win goalie in the league.
Sham, I know you're watching. But when you told Gazelle that he was the backup goalie, I think he took it to heart because he's definitely playing like a backup goalie, dude. He's got 2 wins in 5 weeks. Just pointing that out.
I am playing like that when you need a TC and you're like, oh, I really don't want that guy.
Yeah.
That.
But guess what? You're playing in the NHL 3 games a week as an ECU right now anyways.
No, that was just 1 week.
Oh, okay. But still.
That was last week. Oh, fuck. Hold on. Now I gotta look at it because now I'm like, I can't remember. I've had a few beers, so my apologies here. Let's take a look. I got hard carried by Duck and Devin last week. I ended up being I'm 3-1 in the end right now, so I've got more NHL wins than AHL wins. But that was the hard carry is much appreciated. So yeah, that's a summary of my season so far. I just haven't been able to get the job done, I guess. You know what? I'm gonna have to chug a beer to that.
Woo! Go, 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 go. Drinking the Michelob Ultras. I mean, all good. I got, a Boo glass, King Boo, with rum.
There you go.
Rum and Coke. I mean, I ran out of beer.
What kind of rum?
It's Plantation from not Jamaica this time. It's from Barbados, I think. It's a special edition.
Oh, no shit. Isn't that where from, like, what Rihanna's from or whatever?
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure she is, man.
Definitely asking the wrong person the wrong questions.
I've seen pictures of Barbados. It's really nice there.
Yeah. I live in Canada. It's really not nice here.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, what?
No. I've stumbled across the NHL shop box, and apparently I look like the wrestler Hornswoggle.
Oh, no. Oh,
According
no.
to Frank.
No, Hornswoggle. Oh, my God, I knew
I
that.
don't really see the resemblance because he has a goatee.
Yeah.
But shout out Frank.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me at all. I was like, yeah, it's got to be Pat, Frank, or Tito. One of the 3.
Yeah.
It's always one of the 3. So yeah, week 4. I just want to give a quick shout out. I've been roasting Peterborough all season long about how they've been averaging 1 win per week, and they had 3 wins after 3 weeks.
Yo, I really like. I have to say this,
Okay, go for it.
dude. They had a fucking blowout win this week. Did you see that?
I didn't, but I can
Wait,
go check. But I'm proud of
Yeah,
Peterborough because in week 4 they went and put up 4 wins.
they actually kicked someone's shit in this week.
Seven
what?
three against Barry. Is that the one you're talking?
Yeah, it was Barry.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's the team last week. I was like, where the fuck did they go?
I mean,
Well, I know, but like, I mean, like, hello. I mean, the reason why that, like, I know, Barry's on a little bit of a downslide and shit, but like, still, like, Peterborough had as many wins as weeks in the season.
okay,
So, like, still, that's mighty
okay,
impressive. Like,
it's
come on.
it's impressive, but they had Cadillac Eldo in net, like
Uh,
Barry did.
Crooked won that game. Crooked won that game.
Yeah, Crooked's only win
Yeah.
this season.
Crooked said he's got the only one this season. He's like, yo, we might actually fucking win a game. I'm gonna win a game.
Flashback to the night prior where they lost 14-2 against Oshawa. Man.
Yeah, I saw that. And I was just like, this is what I have to say about that, though. The amount of character to stay in a game in which, like, that is happening, it's unreal.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I have never rage quit a league game ever,
No.
and I've gotten pumped, but never pumped like that.
No.
And it's like, fuck, dude. Like, I feel like almost it has to feel like every shot's going in,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Letting up 14 goals, like,
Yeah.
props to those
Yeah.
guys for sticking it out, finishing the game, because there's 90% of this community that would not do that.
Yeah.
So,
Also, comeback season, Tri-City boys. After
Oh!
we nuked them last week. Give the team.
I mean, they nuked themselves though.
Fact, but we give the team back to Elite Scrub, who's like, hold my beer, and we're like, okay, we hold your beer, we'll drink them, we'll chug them, and then you go out and perform. What does he do? 5-3-1. This team had 0 wins because they all got erased. They already have 5 more. They have 2 less wins than Peterborough through 4 weeks.
Yo, and what did we say last week? If they make the playoffs, he has to win Owner of the Year, right? He has to, hands down.
I don't even think if they make playoffs. If he gets anywhere remarkably close to playoffs, he hands down has to win it.
No, I still think he has to make playoffs. I still think he does because there's enough time. If he's on the pace he is now, and they beat some teams that are close continuously, because it's the WHL, so you know how that schedule is, they can get in. And all great stories start with "Hold My Beer." Just want to point that out. Yeah, I'm pulling for him, dude, because you remember, like, Buck, the guy was like, I'm not coming back to management. Then he was going to, and then he didn't accept his GM offer in time. And now he ends up on Tri-City after bidding, which we touched on last week.
Oh, poor guy.
And Buck reaches out and he said, because he's a trusted guy, he's a great guy, builds good teams, knows players to go after, knows how to fucking build lines. And he literally has, 2 defensemen on the roster after the end of last week?
Three.
3. It was 3. So
and
there
no
you go. Cut in half.
And no call-up eligible guys.
Yeah. Yeah, and I will say, though, props to a lot of the CHL owners for actually working with them and making some trades and giving guys chances to play. Because, I mean, like, it's nice to see the guys come together. And, like, no one just gave up guys. Like, a lot of the trades that he brought in was TC guys that would not have gotten chances like this.
Oh, God, no.
And to see them go 5-3-1 this week, unreal. I like, that's a Cinderella story.
Oh, 100%.
To start.
Batty, you've been quiet. I want to know what your thoughts are. I'll pull up more stuff.
Elite's done a killer job. I just think it's funny that he beat Yankees team 7-2.
Oh, I don't think it's funny. I think it's what it was like. It was time for it to happen.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um.
Fair, fair. I just wanted to point, poke the bear a little bit,
Yeah. So
and I was waiting for my time to do it. What the fuck are you laughing at, Slow Gazelle?
Because I knew you had something loaded up in the chamber,
Yeah.
and I was
Yeah.
just waiting to hear it.
yeah.
And the fact that that's what was in, I was like,
Oh.
I feel like I could have guessed that.
That, and I think we need a whole show on who my doppelganger is because I keep getting discords of people that I look like.
That's amazing.
Yo, Batty, you know who you look like? A fucking stud. That's who you look like, my guy.
Thanks. Do you remember, Buck, season 26? Side note, I'm gonna just take this show this way real quick. When we had Lanes,
And we had
my
who?
goalie, Lanes, my goalie, and Oreo.
Yes. Yes.
They had me on Facebook and they swore that I looked like Adam Scott, but like add 100 pounds.
Oh God.
Look up Adam Scott, or if you've seen Step Brothers.
Yeah.
Yo, Fatty. Fatty, we don't do fat jokes here. What are you talking about at 100
I,
pounds?
I am a bad joke.
You are not. You are one piece of fucking steak right there, my guy.
I prefer to be the whole cow. Have you ever seen the sexy cow?
I called back.
No. What the fuck is the sexy cow?
It's Vatty.
Um, it's me. But like,
Oh my
imagine
God.
like
Bro.
I am just like coming at you like this a little bit,
Okay.
doing a little number. There you go.
All right.
Oh
Let me
man.
haunt your dreams.
Yo, we were just talking about steak last week on the show?
We were.
And
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
and now Vatty's here cutting slices off himself. Like, come on, man. Like, what?
Yo.
What? Oh,
You had a couple
Maddie.
beers, and I am just pure. As my coworker says, I'm full of grace and drunk on God's love.
oh man.
Hey,
Oh,
nothing wrong with that, my man.
no, nothing wrong with that, sir. Hey,
I appreciate that.
Vatty, your boys in Seattle still kicking on top.
They really are. I mean, they're killing it this season. And I think they're about to get better too. They just called up 2 Tigers, 1 Cage, and that kid can rip. So,
Is
good
he
to see
friends
them
with two
still
guys,
going.
one bagel?
I want him to be desperately. Wags, you're watching. Tell us now.
Yeah.
Is that an animal reference to Two Girls, One Cup?
I
I
don't,
feel like it
I don't
is.
know because there's 2 tigers, one cage. There's 2 guys, one bagel. I want to know what's going
Yeah.
on with these guys.
They
Yeah,
do
it's
have
got,
some great names,
They
like
do.
Boot QC,
Yeah.
like that. That's pretty awesome.
Wags has no
Um,
idea.
yeah.
oh man,
I got to look at this roster.
Wags,
I have not looked
Wags,
at the Seattle roster at all.
Yo, I
you
just want
gotta
to.
know.
While you're looking at the roster, I just want to say I predicted it last week. Kamloops dropped to second. Victoria, Sam Squatch, and the boys they took over first in that division.
Did they?
Yep,
Ooh,
they're up 4 on Kamloops now.
hold on, that might be something to touch real quick.
Maybe it's
What is
because
going
Kamloops
on?
traded Nyquist.
Yo, okay. Never mind. Never mind. I'm
Maybe
not.
it's because Kamloops traded their starting goalie, who's super
I'm
toxic.
just okay. Actually, I'm going to say this just because this guy's toxic. I'm not about ripping guys down. I'm not, and I'm not the best goalie myself. I can tell you that. I have my flaws, believe you me. But that guy is not that good for that kind of fucking ego.
Well, hold on. Do you know who Cadillac Eldo is?
No, but
Okay,
Nyquist.
he's known to be an ego.
Yeah. So
So,
he
and
thinks. Yeah.
That's who Nyquist is.
Yeah.
That's who.
He's.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. So.
So this is the guy you guys were talking. Like, okay, never
Yeah,
mind. So we
because.
talked about this a little off air, and
Yeah.
you guys were referencing that name, but like, I
Yeah.
don't know him.
Yeah. So
Like, I've
he's normally a forward, but he's a guy who like straight lines has to play with the
yes,
same 2 forwards. Otherwise, he's
yeah.
not relevant at all because he needs to be hard carried by those 2 guys who are actually good.
Yo, like,
Like
here's the
he's
thing.
known like league wide.
He's actually a
Yeah,
really
no,
good forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Well,
guy
for CHL,
though, like,
CHL.
I was fucking around on right wing out of the shout box, okay, and we all know elite right wing here.
Yes.
Okay.
Fact.
On
And
that
this
WJC,
guy,
right?
Season 20
yo,
WJC Netherlands 120-3. I think we were.
yo,
Or was
that
it
was
even
not the
4?
forward's fault though.
No.
That I will honestly, and it was not the goalie's fault either.
That was
100%.
just all Crooked Metal and Bardown Ninja creating that team.
Well, Crooked just blindly just said yes. Like I feel like the guy had a couple cocktails and just clicked buttons, but whatever. Um, the guy like I've never like. I mean, I played some shoutbox games. I played draft lobbies. Draft lobbies can get toxic if the guys don't know you and shit. But majority of the time, they're just fucking around just to give the new guy a hard time. But that guy reminds me of fucking the goalie NASCAR.
Oh my
Remember
god.
NASCAR, the goalie? Like, just a pure asshole.
Now, if you want to talk about asshole goalies, we need to bring up BS Pain Train back in the day with the hashtag ECMeU. With the slow drip. And, oh man, that was with Farah and Grandpa, I think, the Grandpa Puff and all those guys. That was way back.
yeah.
Man. Rockford days where he literally just like raged in the middle of a game and just left the game because his center was like laying on the ice in front of him. Hashtag
Dude, that was some of the best times.
ECMeU. And I'm like, what the hell's an ECMeU? Oh man, great times, man. Oh, Notorious knows all about that. He roasted.
Yo,
Yeah.
I just want to take a moment here and say this is why LG is great.
Yes.
Like, this is why LG is so awesome. Like, the first season for me was 32, and I was immediately hooked. And I wanted to be part of this community. Like, there's some toxic guys, but there's a lot of really good fucking people.
Oh yeah.
And like the toxic guys kind of make the spice, you know. Then you got your like majority that's like, oh shit. And then you got your like bottom guys that are like, yo, fuck that guy. You know, it's just it's kind of it's pretty cool, and there's a lot of brotherhood in LG. It's really
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, and then like the communities are super different. You have like the old established like NHL
Yep.
community, and then you have like the ever evolving like CHL community, which is like the whole like mindset just between the N and the C is crazy different.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can tell that like yes, the N is more like it's old, it's established, like people know each other, but like the C is legitimately a giant like community itself.
Oh, absolutely. And like Buck, I know you've been in all tiers, but like Fatty, like you've been a manager in all tiers.
Yeah.
Like, talk about that some. Let's hear some about like some great fucking stories from all your tiers here.
Well, hold on. First of all,
He's
I'm
full
about to.
records. This man's got records. He's got
No.
got receipts.
I'm about to do something that I've never done before
Oh
on
shit!
media.
He's about to
Okay,
talk himself
hold on.
up for once.
Oh, this man's
No.
got receipts.
No, it's not done yet, so I have to wait.
It's-
He's like, I need to go do a trade. I'll be right back.
oh yeah,
Shut
number 33. When's it coming, baby? Oh wait, hey Buck, check the queue real quick.
No.
Oh yeah, 33's in there. I see it right there. Should we push it mid show?
No, that
No.
we need Crooked to actually do something on staff.
Oh.
Oh
So I got really great stories. I mean, let's chat. Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Let's hear it.
Snickerang was a name
Oh
that
my
used to go
lord.
around. I got him, okay, in this great trade. I was like, been working on it for a long time. I get this dude, and he goes to frickin' jail.
Yeah, I do remember that. You came into my DMs losing your mind about how you just like traded everything for this dude, and then he goes to jail.
I was pissed.
Yo, let's go. I can't play my LG games. Dude phones home from the fucking prison payphone. Let's go.
No, not even that. Okay, let's talk about this. Oh god, I gotta be touchy with this one because this is one personal for me.
Okay.
I was in the hospital without a phone or any So I did my first LG season in the NHL. I did off a payphone during hours that I was able to be on the phone.
Yo, Fatty, that just speaks to how fucking old you are, man. You just
No, no,
said
no, no.
payphone.
I was in a little bit of trouble, if you will. And
Oh yeah, yeah.
I had I had dedicated phone time for a week and a half. And I may or may not have managed scouting games through that.
Yo, that
That's
is
Yeah, I was gonna say
dedication.
that's some mad dedication,
Like,
dude.
that's a man with passion right there. Holy
Yeah.
fuck. Yo,
Yeah.
honey. Hey, honey, I can only talk to you for 3 minutes. I gotta talk to the boys about the team.
Shout out the only two guys that knew about that have never talked on it. One hates me now. The other one doesn't play LG. Ottawa's JD L23L
Yeah, no.
was
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
of my managers. The other one was, let me hear it for Air
Oh
Raiders.
my.
Oh,
Oh,
oh yeah.
Sir Puffs a lot. Sorry,
He's a good
Jesus.
guy.
he's a great guy. He Sir Puffs a lot.
He's a good guy. I love myself some Raiders. I don't know what happened to him,
I haven't seen him in a
but
while.
yeah. But I mean, I got stories for days, man.
Yo, it was something, man. When I went over to the PSN community a couple years ago, because I went and bought a PlayStation, I met some of the guys that like used to play in the CHL with like way back in the day on the PSN side, and I'm like, do you remember Auto Jets?
I don't.
Vatty,
No, I
do
don't
you
know
remember
what it is.
Auto Jets? Super
Oh,
toxic.
do you remember that was the only time I've been banned? I went to Auto Jets' team
Yeah,
my
and
first season.
I joined PlayStation, and lo and behold, Auto Jets was literally one of the guys on my PSN esports team. Had no idea it was him until I was just like scrolling through his profile, and I was like, username changes. I was like, this is Auto Jet.
Does he still play?
Yeah, he's on PSN. I can't remember what his PSN tag is, but yeah. I'd have to go look at my esports stuff, and I'm not going to do that right now. I'll do that after the show.
Yeah.
Hey, look at your chat. Look at your chat.
Oh my god.
Yo.
No way.
I'm definitely
I have
fuck.
to. Yeah, do it.
Yeah, you back off. It's mine.
No! You didn't just go.
Yes!
You didn't just go and do that.
I
Vatty.
knew it was coming. I knew it was. Bang. Approved.
Vatty just made a trade mid-show for like one of
Yo,
the...
I just approved my first CHL trade of the season. Let's go, boys.
Vatty? How do you feel?
I knew it.
How do you feel getting Chunky Thunder back there in net?
You know what?
I'm very excited.
You're very
Yo, that's
excited.
is that you got Thunder Chunk, right?
Yeah.
Is that who
Yeah,
that was?
I have Ballsy and Thunder Chuck right now.
I'm gonna tell you something about that guy. That guy is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Love Thunder Chunk. Great fucking dude.
I perform for the show. You're welcome. Thank you.
You know what? We're gonna have to put a fucking counter up on live shows from now on for Vatty's trades because he does them live. Like the guy's that dedicated. I don't know what else. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like,
on a whole other topic of dedication, it's summer season. We've got guys going on vacation left and right. Like,
Yes.
it's normal. Don't get me wrong.
Yep.
But the
It's
league has
expected.
instituted the new IR forfeits, and people don't seem to understand what that is. And it's getting frustrating because the league has, yes, we instituted, you now have to put your availability on the site all the time. If you don't, well,
I love that.
you're shit
by
out
the
of
way.
luck. But then Tris made it even easier. Oh yeah, guess what? You can do it for the entire season now in one shot. Yes.
You know how many,
yes, there's underlying issues. I see what other people are saying about that. I get it, and it's a topic for another day for sure. But I want Gazelle to talk about them IR forfeits because I know this is something you wanted to touch on big time, big boy.
Oh hell yeah, dude. And first thing I want to say, shout out to McDonald and Tris for working really fucking hard with the new update to Avail. Because like everyone's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to go on the site every week. I don't want to go on the site every week. Well, guess what? You just have to literally go there 2 times in a season. Because Tris has now loaded enough to where you can sign up for 3/4 the season at the beginning of the season If you know your avail,
Yeah.
you can click all your shit and sign it up. Like for
That's so
example,
nice.
I was 6-9 for the first 3 weeks because my kid's baseball. So I was able to 6-9 my shit, and then the rest of my season I'm 9-9. I had to go back into the avail one more time after week 5 to add the rest of week 9.
Yeah.
That and week 9 for AHL, week 8 for CHL. So it's
Yeah.
the same time scenario,
Like
right?
I'm
So
I'm going on vacation in a few weeks. I'm going out to the West Coast for an uncle's wedding.
and like I don't think a lot of people understand. They're like, "Oh, he's pushing site traffic because of ads and blah blah." No, it's not that. It's for multiple fucking reasons, guys. Multiple reasons. For one, like the site as a whole, great community. We need to show like how many active members there are.
Yeah.
There's one thing, right? Two, you know how like that alone right there busts so many cheaters.
Yeah.
So many because like they have to hit the site and so we get an auto grab of IPs, right? That like settles like that makes the tag busting in playoffs a lesser chance. It makes it a genuine season.
Yeah.
Like there's another
Well,
reason,
you
right?
forget one huge thing.
Yeah,
It still allows the managers to have some control here. And the big thing is if you give somebody under a veil, it's notated on the site,
yep.
logged. So if you gave another team 9-9 and you're now giving 4-9, the Bogs can see that.
Well, and not just that, like that the tool's active for managers to go look too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like managers themselves, like if they're in the middle of a trade talk with a guy, right? And you feel like a guy's being facetious, right? He's like a throwback to season 35 for me. Guy's name, don't not gonna fucking call him out because he's a better person now, but he was a fucking asshole at the time. Told me a guy is 9-9, just doesn't like to use the site that much, and this is before all these implementations came in. And I was like, okay, yeah, no problem. I make the trade. I gave away a good player for another good player. And what I got in return was a guy that messaged me immediately and he was like, yo, I asked, he was a draft pick. He's like, yo, because he sent me a screen that showed that he wasn't being called up. Well, guess what? I found out why. The guy worked for a fucking gas company and he was on call all the time, so he couldn't submit availability. So the guy ended up being fucking 0 of 9, and I got
Mm-hmm.
fucked, right? I literally got fucked. And it is what it is, whatever. But
Living to
like,
learn, right?
the cool things with that is like, there's all those things in place, okay? Now, to move on to the actual topic of IR forfeit, a lot of managers, a lot of them, I've heard it from a lot. They're like, oh, this is so tedious. This is so stupid. Why would I be trying to actively work a guy away to a ban? No, that's not it. Like, this is what that's there to prevent is the fucking guys that won't play for certain managers because, especially in the NHL, they would rather not ban a guy that might have value potentially at some length
Yeah.
to trade him,
Yep.
Speaking
right?
from experience, that's exactly the
And
point.
so we have the IR forfeit in place. And shout out to PSN because they actually originated this idea. So that was huge from them.
Second.
It wasn't
Second.
great to start. The first year, Buck, we had a lot of conversations about this. Like, guy misses
Yeah.
one game and loses a week. No. Now with the system in place, I think it's fucking
It's
fantastic.
like the strike system, but it's IR forfeit,
Yeah.
Exactly.
and
Like
it's
you can literally miss 6 games. That's 2 weeks
yeah.
right there. IR forfeit. You have a valid reason. Okay.
Yeah.
And then let's say you miss 2 games your next week.
Two.
There's 8 games missed. You got 2 strikes in a week. Let's say you miss 2 games the next week. That's 10 strikes in a week. You are still eligible to play in the fucking league
Yeah.
because it requires 3 strikes in one week, weeks 1 through 7,
And then two.
Mm-hmm.
and
Two in the
and
finals.
two in the yeah, and then two, and then 5 total, or 2 in the last, or
Yeah.
2 in the playoffs,
Yeah.
right? Like you are literally allowed to miss almost half of the season And people are complaining about this. It's like, no, this is more perfected than it's ever been. This is actually really good. And the complaint I hate the most is because Brody and Triss, again, shout out to them for this. They worked hard. Just like when you have to go in and issue a missed game strike, like you literally go in there and you do the same process, but it's IR forfeit.
Yep.
And I know it's kind of glitchy right now, and Triss is working on that. Believe you me, he is. But Brody posted for all the managers. He actively posted it right away at the beginning of the season. Here's a video, guys. This is what happens sometimes when you do this.
Yep.
So, like, when guys say like the league's making it more difficult, I know I'm kind of biased because I'm a staff member, but like all I see is Brody kicking ass and doing everything to make a manager's life easier.
I'm
That's
gonna
what I
call
see.
out. I'm gonna call out something real quick. You name me one other league that puts the time and effort into the processes and procedures and making it easier on people to do things.
Yeah.
Because I just tried to manage a UHL and it went disaster because it's a shit show and there's not procedures and processes.
I just need
And it's
to stop on the IR forfeit because like real NHL news just like popped up and it's huge news.
wait,
Oh
what?
shit.
Matthew Tkachuk from the Calgary Flames has
It's
been
a blue?
traded to the Florida Panthers.
Oh, because he wouldn't do the long-term deal.
Listen, he got traded to the Panthers for Jonathan Huberdeau, Mackenzie Weegar, Cole Schwint, and a first-round pick, and then he re-signed or he signed a deal in Florida for 8 years for 9.5 a year.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, it's on Twitter.
That's what he's looking for. He wanted a long-term deal.
Yeah, it's on
That's
Twitter.
why he
It's on
would.
Twitter right now.
Calgary would not give him a long-term deal, so that's why he.
Frank
Like
Saravalli just
I
reported.
thought he was. Like I thought they were going to stick with him. That's the last thing I saw.
That's unreal. I thought he'd go to Ottawa or St. Louis because, well, St. Louis because
Well,
dad,
St. Louis.
or Ottawa because brother. But now his brother's in the same division, though. Yo, if they don't fight at least once this year,
Yeah. I mean, you guys
it's
kicked
great.
the shit out of each other growing up. You might as well do it for fucking TV, eh?
yeah.
I just want to call out something I just read in the chat from Prime Two Time. Signing up for games makes it a genuine season with no cheating. Laughing my ass off. Come on, stretch and a half. I'm not saying I'm not saying it's a genuine season. I'm saying it makes it more genuine. Like we have caught more tags
Yeah.
because of that.
Yep. Because they. And
Like,
the best part is when you ban a tag, another one's just like, "Hey, how come
I'm
that
gonna tell
guy's
you-
banned?" And then, oh, look at that, another one.
There's
just signed
two
into
bands I actually enjoy in LG. You want to know what they are?
second tags
Second tags because fuck cheaters.
and refusals.
Refusals because fuck your ego.
Yeah.
Like just shut up and play.
Yeah.
You joined a free league. Yeah, great. Everyone wants to play with their buddies.
Yep.
Like I have been blessed enough to play with buddies a couple times in the CHL and now 2 times in the AHL. I've got lucky and I'm on a team with some good buddies.
Yep.
Right? Like I'm lucky. Like that happens sometimes, but I played 9 seasons and I'll tell you what, I've been on some really fucking shitty teams that have sucked. And I've never once thought about refusing to play for a guy or quitting.
Yeah.
Like I've never thought that's a thought that's never crossed my mind.
Oh, I've definitely thought about quitting several times, but I always think, yo, that WJC Netherlands team, man, that pushed me to the. But then
Okay, that was probably the second worst, maybe third worst, because I knew WJC was only like a couple weeks.
yeah, that was my
But
recommendation.
I'll be honest with you, man. The one season I felt like I was like super cursed was I was on Syracuse Crunch and I signed this is when multi-season contracts were a thing. I got an AHL bid at 500K at G. I played my first season and like I had an okay season. I went 500, no big deal. New guy came in. I don't want to say his name because I don't want to be a dick. But new guy came in and he was like, "Hey, would you do you want traded? Like, I'd rather keep you on. You could be the paid AGM, and you could have a say in who we bid on and who's the defense and all that shit." I was like, "Cool." I was like, "Yeah, I'll do that. Just let me pick my goalie partner, and let me pick at least 3D."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, cool." And then our GM, great fucking guy. I'm not going to say his name because this will give this away. GM was a great fucking dude. He said the same shit to him. Day before fucking bidding, we have no draft. We have no bidding rights. He revoked them. He posted in the thread and revoked our bidding rights. And then he just
Nice.
went and bidded on whoever he wanted. And he goes, "Don't worry, guys, I got this." And it's like I was livid, dude. I was actually really fucking pissed. And
Oh,
this
I'd
is
be.
what this is when I learned like never manage with someone you don't have at least 50% trust in. Never do that. It was a mistake. And we're like going through bidding, and then this bid comes in because we can't see the bid boards, keep in mind. Okay. This bid win comes in, like we won a guy at 5 million, a defenseman. I was like, "Who's that guy? Like, I haven't seen that. Like, I don't know that name." And he goes, "Well, this guy used to be a real big NHLer, and I've heard he's still really good." And I paused for a second. I was like, "Did that son of a bitch just tell me he heard he's really good?"
Those are my
And
favorite
so
when guys come back after like 4 seasons off.
I
And like,
said,
this
"Wait
guy
a
used to be
second." I
good.
was like, "Did you see him play?" And he goes, "Well, no, but like I said, I heard he's really good." And I was like,
Oh no.
"Oh my God."
Oh
And
no.
our 500K bid defenseman was better than our 5 mil bid defenseman.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me in the slightest. That's just
And
how it seems to
so
go.
I asked him, and he said, I asked him to waive me or trade me just because, like, we just didn't see eye to eye. And he goes, "Okay, sure." And so I ended up getting traded to, I think it was Broomball's team, and Broomball waived me. And then when I got dropped down, I ended up on Bootjaw. And he was like, "Yeah, this season's chalked."
Booja.
So it was just, that was my worst LG experience right there.
Oh man, my worst LG experience has got to be WCHL, West Coast Hockey League. Let's go.
That does not count as LG for me.
Yeah, it doesn't
It
count as
was a
LG, but that's
joke.
got to be my worst LG experience for sure, man. Like
Yeah, that's another one.
signing up to play 11, 11, 40, 12, 20. I know what I was getting into. I already stay up late. Like I'm up till 1, sometimes 2 a.m. But a 12:20 a.m. game should not be starting at 1:15 a.m. because the commissioner of the league is too busy running his stream. It's like, no, 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 we gotta wait because I want to have it on stream. It's like, dude, we've been sitting here for an hour past game time. We just want to play. Fuck your stream at that point, dude.
Yeah. I we're obviously Buck and I are on time difference.
Yeah.
Buck's East Coast time, I'm Central. And Buck had a long ass day at work and he was messaging me. He's like, "God, I really don't want to play tonight, but whatever." And they ended up getting screwed with what he was just talking about. I think it was like he messaged me like 12:30 my time, so 1:30 his time. And he's like, "Dude, this game's not starting for another 20 minutes. I gotta work tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
Like,
straight
can you
up.
please just like, can you trade up with me? Like, you sub for me and I'll play this game for you." And I was like, I read it. I really didn't want to get out of bed, but I felt so bad. And I love Buck. He's a great guy.
Like,
And I was like, "Oh, fuck.
and I
I'll
think
do it."
did that game end up being a forfeit win at the end of the day too?
Yep, it did. It did.
Oh,
I
Oh,
went and got in the lobby and I sat in there for 30 minutes and ended up being a forfeit when I messaged Buck and I said, "Thank God you didn't stay here for this because this is what happened."
yeah.
And the guy messages me at like 5 in the morning my time and he was like, "Oh God, thank you so much for getting on for me."
Like I would have been so upset. Uh,
Oh, dude, I mean, that was a nightmare.
yeah.
It, it
But
was
like
crazy.
the way that we didn't quit is what I mean. Like, it's nice to be able to like stick through it. Unlike some guys that we've had recently. I mean, I think it's hilarious. Razor Gods, the Portland GM.
Oh
After he
yeah.
was like, I don't want to come back. I took over Lethbridge last season because my owner, called staff a bunch of racial slurs and got banned. And now I got to take over the team. And then brought his team to the WHL finals, lost to my team, Portland, Chicken Legs. And then all of a sudden, they teamed up. And we're like, this will be great. And they just, I mean, Portland is now second in their division, but they were bottom of their division pretty much until Razor got banned this week. But he's just like, yeah, I hate chicken. And I looked at him and I'm like, what? Are you a beef kind of guy? That
Opposite of a Chick-fil-A commercial.
Oh yeah, Vatty. I know you're a beef kind of guy.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I know. I think we all love beef.
I know you
I
want to
don't
talk about Razor
know.
Gods though.
Yeah, there's a lot of. This is what happens when you try to build super teams and you aren't sure if you jive with the guy.
Yeah. It's also, summer season finding management was hard, so just trying to get a good manager player instead of paying $6 million for them.
Yeah.
I think Racer God's got a few people that offered him management.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Chicken's a great guy, so that's why like that whole thing, like it's kind of mind blowing to
Yeah.
me.
some people just don't mesh, man.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. That's why it's
like
like,
let's take a back seat then. Like, take a back seat to the team and then try again next season. Like, just go play your games.
Take a
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
exactly. Like there's still no reason to quit, even
Take
if
I
you're
a
had a
getting
team
that.
last season that had three lines that fought all the time. I shit you not.
yeah. Take a
All three
backseat
lines.
role.
Some guys have a hard time doing that though.
Oh,
You know who's
100%.
not having a hard time doing that though?
Who's that?
Take a guess, Buck.
Poopy Snoopy?
No, Buck and Edgar.
Oh.
Just kidding. I just said Buck and Edgar, and you're just like, oh,
Oh.
Plummy and Edgar.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they're like those. Those are two guys. When like I heard they were going to be managing together, I was like, oh shit, because they've always like
Yeah.
been like the primary guy.
Yeah,
But like
they're
that's an example
the
of like
guy.
what, like yeah, exactly. But that's an example of like what worked. Like that's a good example of that. And then Chicken and Razor's a good example of like what didn't. And you never fucking know. Like because I never would have said like Razor and Chicken like one of them's gonna end up quitting. Never would have thought that.
No.
Now Plummy and Edgar, I was like, damn, those guys are gonna butt heads.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I'm like, those are like two. I joke around about it. I'm like, those are two guys that literally run dictatorship teams. Like
You saw
dictatorship.
it coming, right? Like, I mean, we were in the manager chat last season, all three of us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, you could definitely tell Edgar wasn't the same guy that he used to be,
No.
and he didn't want to be the lead guy. And he immediately, like, you could see it, like, oh shit, like it just kind of turned on. But the most underrated guy they brought in, I'm gonna tell you again, I said it before, was Selly, Ballistic
Mm,
Ice.
yep.
Yeah.
They played the long game on that, and that was just the
Yeah.
smartest fucking move.
You brought that up last week too. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
That you're not wrong there.
No.
I
You are
mean,
not wrong.
Sully legitimately is killing it this season. 9-1-2.
Yep. Um. But I know you said that if you're not if you're butting heads and stuff, like chill out, take a backseat role, but don't take too much of a backseat role. Don't be like Snoopy's GM and AGM who just got banned for being absolutely do nothing managers. Because
Yeah.
I mean I love Snoopy. I've known him for a long time, and he's got his fair share of people hate him. He's always building bad teams. Like he's had success in the past, but like that's just it. It's in the past. But Snoopy is
Yeah.
a guy that will never quit. He'll always try his best, and he's just stuck in his ways. And he's an older guy, and that's normal for older guys that they're stuck in their ways. But like, he needed to understand too is like we don't accept you doing everything anymore. Like if you want managers, they have to commit to managing.
Yep.
They can't just be there, play
That's
games,
the
and leave.
Yeah,
problem I have
actually,
with that,
that
though.
was. Go ahead, Fatty.
There's a problem I have with that.
What's up?
You can't. I don't know the full extent of this story. Okay, so, but if you're an owner telling somebody to come on as a do nothing GM or AGM, you're part of the problem,
Yep.
and you need to kick your own ass for having that
Setting
situation
that
happen to you.
expectation. They set
Yeah,
that
yeah.
expectation. So yeah.
Because I don't know what happened
That's
here, but like
essentially
I do know personally that I've said those words to GMs before, and it's like, hey man, listen, I get you're here just to do your thing, and that's all I need you for.
yeah.
But then again, you know how I run teams work. So
Yeah.
Question from the chat from Moneywags.
Yeah.
How did they get? How did they get banned for that?
So essentially, is there was another team who wanted to trade with Erie, and Snoopy wasn't answering, so they went to the next GM. The GM literally was just like, "Yeah, I don't do trades." He's like, "What?" He's like, "I don't do trades. I don't really give input. I'm just kind of here." And then we're just like, "Oh, cool, thanks." And then it came to us, and we're just like, "Oh, really?" Sent PM, blah blah blah. Found out. Yep, nope, they don't do anything. Okay, see ya, bye.
that was
Now,
exactly what I thought it was.
Yeah.
here's the other side of that. The season that I talked about earlier, I was literally not allowed to do anything.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
But guess what I did? You know what
Something.
I did to cover my ass? I went in and I clicked a fucking button. My apologies for saying the F word again, Prime.
Oh fuck
My
you,
favorite word.
asshole!
Yeah, it's my favorite word. It's just how I talk. But I went in and a guy signed up for a game and I approved him for a game. Guess what? I did something.
Hey.
I mean,
Do that every couple of weeks though, and you cannot prove that guy's a do nothing manager.
Yeah,
And I'm not saying that that's okay,
but it's a
but like
trail.
yeah, my situation was different though. Like I was literally not allowed to do a damn thing.
Yeah.
Worst
question to
experience.
both you guys though. Let's say Tomidius and Ranger decide to appeal, and
Yes.
they have a message that says you can be a do nothing. How does that get handled? Just because I'm curious. I don't want to put
So
you on the spot or
appeals
anything.
get handled by Brody. At
Yep, because they're
that,
ban appeals.
yeah.
So
I'm just asking how that would work. You know what I'm saying? Like,
honestly, we cannot comment on that because
okay,
Brody
sorry.
will
No,
do
Okay.
it all.
no, you're good.
Like
If anything,
you're fine for asking the
it
question.
if anything, it would just incriminate the owner more, I'd say,
Yeah.
and then we would have to be like, hey, either you shake your shit out and let your other managers do something, or see you bye, potentially. Like,
Yeah.
and like
I
And
just wondered how that would work,
and
you
like
know?
Snoopy's got himself another GM now. It's Mookie,
Which I thought was a great pickup.
and
that is
Mookie
because that's a huge contract drop from the AHL.
yeah, and Mookie's a solid player, and he's like
Yeah.
excited to manage.
Oh, that's
So,
Um,
cool.
to build on what you were just talking about, though, Vaddy, you should read that question from Money from the chat.
Well, they have to say it, but even so, if you put the give input, if you don't do anything official, you still have to hand them in. That's true. I mean, you
So,
choose what you do, right? Like
yeah,
that is at the end of the
yeah,
day.
so if you're doing that, that's proof of managing.
yeah,
And I
You,
guess
you
once you
provide
click
the
that
so
accepts,
what would happen in that situation? Guy gives those screens like, "Hey, no, I was giving input on trades. I was giving input on lines." He
so
appeals
really
that
you
to
get further
Brody.
by setting that up.
Exactly. Like you get
Yeah.
like you give that proof to Brody. Like I doubt Brody's gonna look because like we can only like when we issue bans,
yeah,
like we can only go off of the proof provided.
Yep. We don't go searching for it either.
Yeah, like we don't go like if a ban is handed in, I don't go, let me message 15 guys to get the truth.
Yeah.
I see the evidence,
Right.
I rule on it, that's it. Now, if further evidence comes out and turns out I made the wrong ruling,
And,
that's why Brody's there.
and like,
Brody says, "Hey guys, we actually got it wrong. Here's the proof here. Appeal granted."
yep.
Like,
And like, doing nothing managers is a tough topic too, because like at that point we have to go and we message like the owners, and it's just like,
Mhm.
hey, we hear that your managers are do nothing managers. Can you please provide us with proof showing otherwise? If you don't show us proof, see you goodbye. Like the owner, like is not showing us proof that his managers are not do nothings. Well, they're gone too.
Right.
before that
It's-
even happens, the first thing we do is check site activity. That's the first
Yeah.
thing we do before we even send that
I
PM.
thought it was a good question to ask
Yeah, no,
because of
100%.
It's
like,
a great question. It's a great question.
And like it applies to all
um,
levels, realistically.
Oh, it
yeah,
does.
yeah.
Absolutely. That was a really good question.
Um,
Um,
go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, I was just gonna ask if we were gonna bring up the suggestions. You guys
Y-
said you had some stuff you wanted to talk about too.
Yep,
Yeah, that's
we
actually what I
do.
was going to next.
Oh, sweet, sweet.
Because we're talking, I was saying like it works for all levels, and I was gonna be like, speaking of all levels, we had
Well,
a
sorry for
suggestion.
fucking up your transition.
No, all good, man. We got one in our Discord, in our LG Runs Wild Discord. By the way, which is active now. We have over 60 members and continuously growing every day. So check it out. It's in the AHL and CHL forums right now because I'll post the link. Don't worry about joining. We are still building it as we go. So someone said, I want to hear opinions on bottom feeder AHL teams calling up guys from the CHL. I'm talking about like 20 points behind. Should there be a rule? How would that rule even work? Well, let me just tell you, that rule is already in place partially. We have
Yeah.
a rule that after AHL trade deadline, any team that is more than 10 points out of playoffs at the end of every week, which gets updated
Mhm.
every week, is no
Mhm.
longer eligible to call up players from the CHL.
Yep.
Now, if they're, say it's week 8 and they're 8 points out, and they call up two guys from, I'll just, because Moneywise is here, I'll say Seattle. They call up two of Seattle's top players because they're 8 points out. They're pushing for playoffs going to week 9. They go 0-9 and they finish 20 points out. Sorry. Like, there's not much we can do at that point.
There's also another portion to that rule that's not actually linked.
Okay.
If Buck, you know this one. You'll remember this one the second I say it.
Oh, probably.
If a guy that was a CHL guy that was called up, and they usually, now with the way the schedule works,
Yeah.
link up, if they played 15 or more
CHL.
CHL games, they can be automatically sent down because AHL and NHL have conditional waivers between weeks 7 and 9.
Yeah.
And those guys don't even have to clear waivers, they're automatically returned back
Yep.
if
Yeah.
they have that criteria met.
They have to have played 15 games in the that season. So say you get called up in at the end of week CHL's week 5, so AHL's week 6, like right after going into trade deadline or whatever. If things don't pan out in the A and the team like falls off a cliff, they can send you back down to your CHL team. It's not the end of the world.
Finish the run. Exactly.
Just want to say real quick, thank you for the sub to TRMC Big Mac. First sub.
Oh, great guy.
Atta boy. Great guy, great goalie.
Yep.
Um,
No, great guy, horrible goalie. Screw that guy.
I mean,
don't like
you
him.
have 2 wins. What can you say right now?
Because Big Mac faced him 4 times last season and went 0-4 against him. Don't like him. Just kidding. I love Big Mac. Great guy.
Nah, it's all good. But yeah, no, like there are things in place. Yes, it's a little bit of a pain in the ass, and don't get me wrong, but I mean, we do our best to provide the NA and the A as much, what's I guess the most fluidity with the CHL in terms to call ups and send downs and to not screw the CHL because it is the development league. Vatty, you've been here forever. You know it. It sucks getting your top players called
It
up
does.
right before playoffs or
That's
right
why I
in
suck all the
playoffs.
time, guys.
Yeah, you develop all your top prospects, and then they become amateurs, and then boom, they're called up.
I
That's
mean, but
Exactly.
like that's as a CHL manager, like that should be your goal. Like, hey,
yeah,
I've helped develop this guy. Like, you may not have like done everything to make him as good as he is, but you've put him in a position to succeed. And if he succeeded enough to where someone in the AHL or the NHL, because I've seen call-ups from CHL to NHL,
yep,
they look at that guy, they've watched some VODs, and they're like, yo, this guy can play at this level.
yep.
Like, I get it sucks losing a guy like that. Believe me, I've been in that position. But at the end of the day, it's like, you've done your job.
See, what irks me, because I'm the CHL commissioner, is when I
Yeah.
get the managers complaining because they've used a draft pick player for 6 weeks now, and then the NHL
Yeah.
goes up and then calls them up. And it's like, you realize that's not your asset. You're borrowing that player until the N
Yeah.
needs it or the
I
A needs it.
as a CHL, like I owned in the CHL, the like when I got draft pick send downs, the first thing I did was put them on the block.
Yep.
And that's not because I didn't like I got some good send downs. And like I talked to the NHL management to get the proof, like they're gonna be down for a while, stuff like that. But you don't rely on that. You
You
can't.
can't.
Like the second that guy gets called up, let's say like you had him with some okay guys, like some decent guys, but you had that game changer. That's that draft pick. That game changer gets called up. Guess what you have now? You've gotten a third line in the CHL. You've got an average third line, and you've got to replace the game changer.
Yep.
Guess how easy it is to replace a game changer that's protected in the CHL? Like, it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
So,
That's why the CHL has prospects and
Mm-hmm.
protections and all that fun jazz that, managers are like, but come on, these guys are good. They've played in the N for 6 seasons in a row. It's like, oh man. Oh man. Vatty, you can speak on this. I know you I'm sure you want to, but
Well, let's talk about this a little bit. Um, Owners, managers, the biggest thing I can tell you is that if your players fight a call up or fight ECUing, a, mo- a spiteful MFer is gonna think about your guy before he thinks about the other guy with two more points than that guy.
yeah.
That's one thing. So, keep that in mind. Also keep in mind that the AHL and the NHL, some call ups are stupid. I agree. Like with some of them, right? Like when you have a team falling apart and they're calling people up that like NHL teams are calling up guys that don't even have it business being in the NHL, then I think yeah, you have a point. Yeah, but that's when you have a conversation with that owner or GM and you say, hey, listen, man, I see you're in this predicament. I'm in this predicament. Let's help each other out. I can use this guy this day, and he can use you this day. Like
yep.
communication is key here, right? I think
Yep.
that's what I'm trying to say mostly. And if you don't have communication, you just ignore it, then the inevitable will happen, and you can't prevent it.
That's
Now,
fair.
something, and then I'm just gonna bring this up, and I'm gonna let Buck speak on it because
Oh no.
Buck, yeah, Buck knows, and Buck had to deal with this the majority. But there was a team that, even though we have the 10-point rule out of playoffs, at this time we didn't have like the rule that we do now, which is you have to carry a min of five, a minimum, or sorry, five. minimum of 15 roster players at all times. We did not. This is key to this. We did not have that rule when this happened. So there was a team that was significantly
Pittsburgh.
out of the playoffs and almost impossible for
Pittsburgh.
them. Like, yeah. And Buck, you know which one I'm talking about. So
I know what team
let's
you're
hear
talking. I don't
you
remember the
explain.
players, but
It was Dallas. Yeah, not the players because there were so many of
there
them.
was two teams at once. It was two
Well, what?
teams.
So basically, to start Buck off, the NHL was down to like 14.
The Stars had
Was it?
14 and the Penguins had
There you
12,
go.
and they both made playoffs. So they had to be
Yep.
roster compliant of 17 guys, which meant
I lost all
AHL
my guys
guys.
that season.
That meant 7 AHL or 8 AHL guys had to go up, which meant 6 to 8 AHL guys or CHL guys had to go up, and it was like, and then my CHL managers are freaking out like, but why are they taking my top players? It's like it's playoff
They're in the
time.
playoffs.
It's like, yeah,
They
so are
made-
they. Like, they want a good player. Yeah, but I need him. So do they. Like,
Yeah.
why can't they call up, Kamloops, whose last place didn't make playoffs? Why can't they call up one of their players? Because he's dog shit. Like, you want to compete in playoffs at every level. I get it. But, man, like, that was brutal.
It was a rippling experience to the CHL, which led to the new rule the very next season being put in that AHL and NHL teams had to carry a minimum of 15 on the roster.
Yeah.
So no matter what, like the most a single team could take was 2 because that literally it and Buck Daddy, you were a manager too, so that
I lost one
literally
of my guys that season.
well, there was one team that lost 3 guys, and that
Yep.
team was a
one.
solid Mem Cup like contender. So I
That was
completely
Oshawa,
understood. Yeah, completely understood their frustration. And I don't want to say it like
I'm pretty sure Tulsa was also one of the teams that got hit
yeah,
hard
like
because I Iron Hands was in my DMs and I'm like, bro, there's nothing I can actually do. There's nothing I really want to do either, but there's nothing I can actually do to help you.
well, they weren't sabotaging. They were doing what was best for their team.
Yeah.
Like those guys did they did what they thought was right at the time. Like, hey, we had a bunch of guys banned. We're not going to call up a bunch of guys from our AHL teams. Like
No.
right now, like our AHL teams are doing good. Like why would we ruin their season?
That's
So we'll
I
let
think
them
that was
play
the
it
thing.
out. We'll
That was the thing with
ECU
Dallas.
and
Yeah.
and we'll ECU and lo and behold, holy shit, these guys made the playoffs by a point and a tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Like they're
I think the
one of the teams-
craziest part was
like
I think both NHL and AHL teams made the playoffs.
Yeah.
At least the Penguins did.
Yeah.
well, not just
Yeah.
that. Not just that, they made the playoffs, but then they also advanced past round 1.
Yeah.
That was even crazier. It was like holy shit. And then
Pittsburgh
was
lost
it Texas that went?
Yeah, Texas moved on. Pittsburgh and WBS lost
Yeah.
in round 1. Dallas lost in round 1. Texas went to round 3, I believe.
Yeah, there you
And I
go.
was just
And
like, oh my god.
like that was nuts.
That was a long playoff, sorry, because it was just like constant like people getting called up in the playoffs, and I was like, guys, I get it, man. Like I really do. You're in round 1. Like the worst part is like AHL's in week 9, and NHL's in week 9. Like the CHL's already played round 1 of playoffs.
Yep.
That was the worst
It was
part.
rough.
Like that was the worst part. Playoffs had like
Yeah, the
teams
last
were
call up.
The call-ups were on teams going into round 2.
Yeah, the last call up from the CHL happened in round 3 of the CHL playoffs that season. It was nuts.
And that was also the season of mass booting in the CHL playoffs, which made it
Yeah,
even worse.
yeah. Yep.
I'm crossing my fingers, but season 41, no booting and no tagging in playoffs. That was unreal. I'm like, my first season as commission, 5 seasons, and there's no issues.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
worse.
that was like it was a devastating realization that we had a flaw in the rule book.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because someone like manipulated
No.
it or anything. It was just like a holy shit like moment. So
Holy jeez. Thank you for the 6-month subscriptions, Moneywags. Dang. Atta boy. Subscribe to
I
tier
mean,
1
I
for
guess that means we're committed to 6 more months of shows, yeah?
Let's go. Also want to shout out Gotti Mac for cheering some bits there. To 125 bits. It's been nice. I haven't seen him this season. He's normally management. He took a season off. But good to see you around. And of course, the Young Buck for Canadian Prime Minister. Never going to happen, but you can always hope, right? But yeah, no. This season is definitely a lot harder to get called up from TC to roster, I find. One, at the CHL level, it's a little bit harder because most of the new signups are RAVs, so they're not even call up eligible. But like the guys that are call up eligible, I'm sorry, but a lot of them aren't very good. Or
well,
if
and
they are
another
good, they don't have
thing.
games played on LG.
This is gonna sound kind of corny because I know I'm friends with the guy, and I've gotten to know the guy, and I love the guy. He's a great fucking person. But shout out to Buck for how hard he fought to help protect CHL assets for you guys. Like Buck worked really hard. He had to change a lot of minds, and he did it. And a lot of you guys didn't see it because he was getting ridiculed during that run of all those call ups.
Oh man.
So
Man,
I'm just
like,
I
and like that's the 15 man roster thing for the N and A now. Like, there's still things that we need to touch on for the CHL, so like the CHL
yeah.
doesn't get destroyed because like the CHL has to be roster compliant at game time every day. They're straight up.
Yep. That's another topic we just
So
were discussing. Yeah.
we're I can touch on it a bit because it's managers that have brought it up for like change committee stuff. Like, either one, AHL can't call up midweek, or NHL can't call up from the CHL midweek because the CHL has to be compliant, or CHL drops roster compliance to 15 as well.
Yep.
It's
Which I'm a fan of either
yeah,
because it doesn't ruin a team. Whichever rule we go with, like
and like
this is where the change committee is important
yeah,
because like we get the league decision on it, and then like on these 50-50 things we can be like, well, league wants this, so let's do it.
yeah, and like the mid call up ones, a lot of them don't even make sense. They'll play 3 games in the CHL that week on the Sunday, get called up Monday, and the team's like, "Hey,
Well,
I need you
they
to play
can't play.
Tuesday," and it's like they can't.
They can't.
They've
They
already played their
literally
3
can't.
roster games this week.
Yeah, they can't play. They're ineligible to play.
So like
And
yeah, go ahead.
uh, no, you go ahead. You're on the right track. I
It's
think we're
just
about to say the same thing.
I just there's a lot of changes that we want to make happen, but they need to also make sense for them to happen. And that's what a
Yeah.
lot of people don't understand. It's like, but it makes sense. It's like, yes, it does for one league, not all 3. We have to make, changes that make sense for all 3 leagues, which was like the
Well, and keep in mind, like, if you're watching this and you're a CHL guy, the only way that this league really works is if all 3 go.
that's it. And like, if
Yep.
the CHL is struggling, lo and behold, the other 2 are going to struggle as well.
Yeah.
Like, this was the season where we were like, it's gonna be tight with signups, and it was like, do we add the queue? Do we not add the queue? And it was like, I can't add the queue. I like 2 months beforehand, I was like, I'm not adding the queue. I'm gonna try, but I'm not going to force something that will not work. Do we have the numbers for it now? Yeah. But those numbers also include hundreds of RAVs who are not call-up eligible. So the next thing was like, do we make RAVs call-up eligible? And it's like, to what extent? CHL only? And it's like, well, no, you can't do that because then, oh, well, why can they be called up for 11 mil at the CHL, but they can't be called up to the AHL for 11 mil if the AHL has the cap space? And it's like, okay. So, it's constant revolving door of ideas. So, like, if you guys want to actually be involved with LG's ideas, sign up for the change committee. We're always looking for people because it really is a way to get out ideas. IR forfeits and the strike system and the way IR forfeit is done now, Plimmy. I was all Plimmy. Like Motley, the PSN AHL commissioner, set up the IR forfeits initially, but the way it is now with the strike system,
When Pliny
that
brought
was
that up,
all
yes.
Plimmy in the change committee.
Yep.
It was something I had brought up a long time ago. I was like, IR should be the same thing as strikes. And then
Yeah,
Pliny
we talked about it.
But no, I'm saying like this was like when I was like a bog in like season 36. I was like,
Oh yeah. No,
I'm
that's
like,
before me then.
IR needs to be the same thing. It's still 2 weeks, but it has to be the same as strikes because people can miss one game, and then they get struck
Yeah.
for it, and then it's like, well, that's bad. But like, it's like my internet went out. What can I do? Like,
Yeah.
But like that was all Plimmy,
Yeah.
and like
When
this,
Pliny made that post though, like that was a game changer.
as soon
That
as
was a great idea from a community member. Like I know he's a team owner and everything, but like first and foremost, he's a community member, and that's one of the great things about Pliny is he's always looking out for the community. Like he's been around forever, and he brought that up, and lo and behold, the next season,
yeah. And
like
like
we all talked about it, it was
the moment he brought that up, I literally tagged all the commissioners. I'm like, please,
Yep.
I've been mentioning something like this for so long. We need to implement this. And Brody was like,
can
yep,
confirm that happened.
yep. Brody was
Yep,
like straight up,
can
yep.
confirm.
Like,
Can confirm that's a true story. that was that was a game changer. It was because like we like so like as staff like there's always things that individually you're not going to agree with and stuff and but I would like to say like 99% of the time like when we're talking in staff chat it's like it's not bitching back and forth, it's like how can we improve this,
yeah.
how can we make this like this player said this like that's actually not a bad point. And then when that idea came from Plimmy and Buck did that, like the Brody responded, I think, within 2 minutes.
Oh yeah,
And he was
straight up.
like, that is perfect. And he's like, let's do that.
And then he was just like, Tris, is this possible?
Yep. That was the next tag. Yep.
Yeah.
And it
Can we do
was
this?
it went boom, 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 and it was like, we're doing that next season.
And then it was implemented.
Yeah.
And it's still here and there, but like we're working. It's still a trial and process. Moneywag said some people are saying you cannot waive someone if they're put in IR, and to me that can't possibly be accurate. It is accurate because it's a status change. So IR is what the player's status is. So if you waive that player, their IR status is gone. They're on waivers now. So as soon as they get waived, and if they get claimed by another team, they're no longer on IR. They're active roster. They would have to be re-IR'd, and that's just it's a lot of backtracking because then staff would have to reprocess the IR, and it would make him look like he lost 2 weeks of IR instead of one for the same week.
Yeah.
That's why we're just like you can't waive a guy on IR just because they're not active that week. It's almost an inactive player, but they're on holiday.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't really have much else to talk about this week. We've been running a little bit longer than the last few episodes, but that's okay because we get lots of chat interaction and, we got people that come up with ideas all the time. But unless you guys got something for us, I'm good with that.
No, the only thing I got is thanks everybody for watching.
Yeah, honestly.
We really appreciate it, and we appreciate the topics you guys bring to us. Like that's what we're here for. Is like it's literally the point of the show.
Yeah.
Is to talk about things that people want to hear about. So, thank you.
Yeah. Gazelle, I'll get you to repost the Discord link in the chat. But like I said, we just did put the Discord out. It's like I said in the AHL, CHL forums. Gazelle's going to post it in the chat again. Continuing to grow. We're still trying to tinker with the Discord a bit. We're having some issues here and there. But that's okay. We'll figure it out. Once we do, you guys will be all, it's just another media channel where you guys can hang out, chat, give us ideas. Vatty, I know you always look confused. Mr. Hornswoggle, Miko, whatever they seem to call you. But
Yeah.
I
think one thing we should implement into the Discord is maybe just somewhere where we can post league ideas too.
Okay, yeah.
His
Oh, that's a great
suggestions.
idea.
League
Yeah,
suggestions.
I mean, I think since we touched on it, we have a lot of guys that are, always brains always going. So, even if it's not a great idea, doesn't mean the second or third one won't be a great idea. So,
Yeah. And like,
and
It
maybe
doesn't mean the
eventually.
next
So,
person can't read that and then build off of it.
right.
yeah,
Like
it's
that's
always
another thing. Like that's a great idea, Patty.
And
Good
like
shit.
at the end of the day, like we just want to talk about LG. We want to talk about real life things. That's what this is a podcast. This isn't a show where we have things prepared. Like this is like we have a list of topics we'll discuss, and we just throw it in as we go. But like Fatty talking about him being a sexy cow, wasn't expecting that at all. Let me tell
that
you
was
that.
not that was not
We talked about steak.
scripted.
We talked about steak for like 10 minutes last week.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Comes out of
that was a good
like
conversation.
that's the whole point of the show. We're just having fun, and like
It's
I get
raw.
it. We are very CHL focused, but
hmm
and like I know this is pushed LG wide, but I'm sure there are guys up at the end of the A that are watching this and are just like it, or they're listening to it and they're like, you know what, this isn't too bad because like they get it. It's
Join the Discord and throw your topics in.
yeah.
Like if you want to hear us talk more about the reason why it's more, I guess, CHL focused is because that's where the topics are driven from
Yeah.
the most. It's not because Buck is the CHL commissioner
No.
and that's what he wants to focus on. Like our literal goal of this whole show is just to talk about league or bullshit about life
Yeah.
and have a good time.
And like,
So
yes, like it started CHL oriented because one, that's where Vadi manages. That's where I'm the commissioner
yep,
of. You've
yeah,
been manager commission, and now you're AHL commish. But like, you
yeah.
have to start with some sort of base. We know the CHL, we know the players, we know the managers, so that's how you grow your base. Now that we've got somewhat of a we're every week and we're trying our best to put out new stuff. We can branch out, touch more AHL, NHL. If guys want us to talk about that, no problem. I have no issues going and research a couple things that's going on at the other levels.
Yeah. And the goal is
yeah.
never to have the show be focused on a certain league. This
Oh
show's
God, no.
focused on just the community.
Yeah,
That's it.
it's just
It's the community.
sit around, have a couple drinks, talk with the boys.
Yeah,
And who
exactly.
knows, we might have a guest appearance here or there. Like, I get people want a guest appear, but like, we. It's not that we don't want people to show up. We have a flow, like how we do things. We got to make sure people, are on board with how we do things too, and we want to get the right people on the shows at the right time. So
Right.
we will have people on, and like I get people who are like, "Come on, let me on." Eventually, we want to. We're getting there, one step at a time. It's there's
Well,
process.
I think the
Yeah,
big thing too, Buck, don't mistake, like the three of us have a good flow and always are kind of chatting. So like we're able to go on for an hour and not have a lull,
Yeah,
which I think is really nice to watch in a show. Like if you've watched Swifty's show, like him and
yeah.
Fly will just go on and they're back and forth and
yeah.
there's never a dull moment.
No,
That's a great
And
example, Daddy.
yeah,
I think that's the thing, like we really want to make sure that the entertainment level and the engagement is going to be there if
yeah,
we add another person for a show or two. So
yeah,
And to add on that, like I know like we've seen it a lot tonight. Like put me on the show now. Like we will never add someone onto the show mid-show.
no,
That's not going to happen
and
here.
we're never going to probably ever going to do a live show with someone.
Yeah.
yeah, no,
Like I mean maybe at some point further down the road, but it's not that like it's just like
it's a
I
security.
have I'm gonna be honest. I have 100% trust in Buck and Vatty to remain professional. Like yeah, we may say fuck shit, whatever,
I
stuff
may be
like
a sexy
that.
cow.
Yeah, he made that the sexy good example, but like the one thing that will never be tolerated here is derogatory shit towards anybody and stuff.
Yeah,
And that's what happens sometimes when you introduce someone mid-show or
Just bring it
stuff
on.
Well,
like
go
that.
back and listen to our other episodes. We talked about how me and Buck have been media before, and
It gets
it's
spicy.
gotten hairy. It gets
Yeah.
spicy. That's a good word
Buck,
for it.
Buck got a ban for something that like he allowed to happen.
Yep.
You know, like I mean, sure, like he was live, but like, did he plan that? Fuck no. I
Shit.
guarantee you, the first
Shit
thought Buck
just
said when he
happens.
got on that stream was not, "Hey, let's get banned tonight."
Yeah. I knew it was going to be wild. I didn't expect it to be a slur fest 2 minutes in.
Yeah,
I thought it was guys coming in to roast each other. That was the point. A roast, not a slur fest. But
yeah,
And I think that's the big thing. We gotta like we. There's a
it's
lot of reasons. Let's just say that.
yeah.
yeah. I mean, like, look here. We hold our managers to the highest expectations.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the AHL deputy commissioner.
Yep.
Buck is the CHL commissioner. We cannot allow that to like come on the show and happen because guess what's going to happen? It's going to fall on all three of us.
Yep.
And that is not a good look for the league.
No.
Like this is not your come on and trash someone
No.
type of thing. Like we may like joke around like the
Yeah.
Peterborough stuff and all that. Like it's all in good fun though.
That's all
Like
me.
we're not I mean that's not like targeting someone, you know.
No.
So it's again to add on to what we've been talking about. It's not that we don't want people on the show right now. We're just trying to figure out the best way to implement that.
Yeah. Because like,
So
let's be realistic here. Guys that we'll likely see on the show first are guys like, LG McDonald, Shorty, one of the fellow Bogs that just wants to pop in that we can trust. One of like the older time managers that have been around for a while. Hell, like if we got a guy like Sweet Lou who was interested, I'd throw him on. I've known Lou
yeah,
forever. Lou's a great guy. He does his own shows. Like
yeah, absolutely.
Swifty wanted to do a face reveal. Hey, LG runs wild.
Yeah, yeah,
But
That would be good.
that would be good. But
yeah.
I do want to thank everyone for watching. It's been a great show tonight. It's midnight my time. We've been live for an hour and a half almost. And like I said, unless these guys got anything to say on an outro, we'll see you guys
Hold
next
on,
week.
hold on, hold
Okay.
on, hold on. Hey, Gazelle.
What?
God.
Fuck you, Maddie. I love it.
Let that haunt your dreams tonight.
Oh, it's gonna make my dreams tonight. I love it.
Oh boy.
Hey, that was for Notorious, okay?
Yeah.
Yo,
Oh, was
Notorious
it?
and
All right, boys.
Fuck.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you guys next week, and peace out.